Then 2.77. Okay, we will reject the negative because x cannot be negative lah. Okay. So if I put inside my I'll get negative 0.179 and I'll get 0.256. So at x equals to 2.77, A is mid. Okay, so yeah, please don't just do your work blindly. You have to go back and review what is done. Okay, if not, then we shall move on to our integration. Though some of you have not completed your integration, but I will still start first. Okay, I also missed out question 51, okay, which I will also do now. Okay, I say again, please do not be actively copying. You need to do your work yourself and then you go and check. You don't just copy my work, it doesn't help you at all. Okay, the figure show y equals to x squared. The point r equals to 1, 0. The variable p is there, move along x-axis, pq is vertical. It is given that p decrease at the rate of this. So what does this tells me? This tells me that dp dt equal to negative 1.2. Okay. Show that the area of PQR is equals to that. So it may seem scary, but you have to go back and remember the area of triangle is simple as half time base times height. Okay, what's the base? What's the height? In this case, the base is this, and the height is just this. Okay, so what is the base? The base is just, what's the length of the base? This length is 1. What did they say about P? They never say about P. Okay, so the base is just 1 minus P. And what's the height? If this x coordinate is P, the y coordinate will be P squared. Why? Because if this is P, then the y will be P squared. So the height is just P squared. So today, if you expand this, you get half P squared minus half P cubed. And this is our A. Okay, part A done. Part B, find the rate at which A is increasing at the instant of this. So when we see this question, this part of the sentence, we will know that the question wants us to find the A dt. So you always establish your chain rule, dA dt equals dA something times something over dt. And in this question, based on the information given, we will choose dp. Okay, so from here, I will know dA dp is actually equals to p minus 3 over 2p squared. So this is my p minus 3 over 2p squared. And what is my dp dt? dp dt just now is negative 1.2. Okay, so this is my dA dt. They say at the instant where p equals to -7. So when p equals to -7, dA dt is equals to, just sub your -7 inside. You will get 96.6. So you conclude, therefore, area is increasing at a rate of 96.6 units square per second. Okay, next, I will start with your integration already. Today should end pretty early lah, because we only left with a few things to do. Okay, so just do a summary of your integration first. Let's start with the technical thing. So the first thing is definitely your standard polynomial ax power n. What you do, power increase by 1, divide by the new power, plus c. The condition for this is n cannot be -1. Because if n is -1, you add 1, it will become 0. The second integration that you have, ax plus b power n. What do? Power increase by 1, divide by the new power, divide by the differentiation of this thing. You differentiate this, you get a plus c. Again, the condition for this is n cannot be -1. Okay, what happens if n is -1? Now, if n is -1, what do we have? We have things like that. You can see that this is a over x. This is actually ax power -1. Okay, what do we have? We will actually have a ln x. Okay, actually these two is the same thing. 3a and 3b is the same thing. Alternatively, you can have like a number like 1 over ax plus b. So you can see that this is actually ax plus b to the power of -1. So again, you cannot increase power by 1 because it will go to 0. So when this happens, you must think of your ln. Okay, and then you need to differentiate this and divide here, plus c. So this is the more complicated part because it's very difficult to tell which one it is. Okay, then the rest will be pretty easy to differentiate because they are just your integrate sign. Okay, I don't want you to remember integrate sign is what. You should think from the perspective that, oh, I differentiate sine, I get cosine, differentiate cosine, I get sine. So if I integrate sine, I should get negative cosine. The angle will not change, but you need to differentiate the angle, then do the plus c. Integrate cos ax plus b. Differentiate sine give me cos, so integrate cos will give me sine. Okay, differentiate tangent will give me secant square. So I integrate secant square, I will get tangent. So try to recall from the differentiation perspective because the negative can be confusing. And last but not least, you integrate e power ax plus b. It will be e power ax plus b. The power will not change. Remember to divide the power with the differentiation. So as you can see, one of the important thing that we need to highlight and know is that all these you can see they are always linear. That means x power 1. Okay, you can see all this is just x power 1, x power 1, x power 1, x power 1, x power 1. If the power is not 1 for these places, right, we cannot apply what we have just applied. Okay, for example, this is wrong. This is wrong. Let's say I want to integrate x squared plus 5 to the power of 6. I cannot do this. I cannot do this. I cannot say this is x squared plus 5 power 7 over 7. Then I differentiate x squared plus 5, I get 2x. I cannot do this. This is very wrong. Okay, why? Because the power here is 2. Is x squared, not x power 1. So the integration will not be so straightforward already. Oh. Okay, so what integration is about? Integration is more like how you change the expression into these 7 cases, then you start your integration. You should not be randomly integrating. Okay, there is only these 7 integration you use. If your expression does not look like this 7 integration, please do not do your integration. You must think of how to change the thing. I can give you one example. Okay, example, if I ask you to integrate sine square x, how do you integrate sine square x? First thing you will think of power increase by 1. Can you do that? Let's take a look. Sine square, is it any of this or not? Is it this? Is it this? Is it this? Does this have a square? Does this have a square? Does this have a square? This have, but these two don't have. So you cannot just integrate sine square x because it's not one of these 3 that you see. So what we need to do, we need to change how sine square x looks like. And based on your formula sheet, we know that cosine 2x is equals to 1 minus 2 sine square x. So if I bring the sine square x here, this is 1 minus cosine 2x. Sine square x will be equal to half minus half cos 2x. So you see, to integrate sine square x, I have to actually change the sine square x to half minus half cos 2x. Okay, integrate half will give me half x. Integrate cosine 2x will give me what? Sine 2x over 2 plus c. So this is the basic principle behind integration. You don't embark on your integration until it looks like this 7 integration. Okay, you should not just randomly just jump and do it. Okay, I hope this example allows you to see that. Okay, anybody still need this? If not, then we will move on to some examples. I hope you have tried already, so we can move a bit faster. Then we can end today. Today confirm can end earlier. Is how early only? Okay, so the first kind of question is very typical. This kind of question is very typical. So what is the typical thing that we see is they always ask you to do a differentiation first. After that, they ask you to hence integrate that. Okay, so first thing we have to differentiate this. So to differentiate this, we have to apply your product rule. 9e3x, 3x plus 1, 3x plus 1 square. Now what do? You can factorize or you can expand first. I think expand will be good. This is 27x e3x plus 9e3x minus 9e3x. Okay, and you can see they will cancel out each other. So this tells us that k is actually equals to 27. Okay, next portion, hence evaluate this. So when you encounter this kind of question, this is how you always start. If you differentiate this thing, you get this thing, correct? Then you differentiate this, you differentiate on top one, you get the bottom one. So what happen if you integrate the bottom one? You will get back the top one, right? Because integration and differentiation are two opposite direction. So whenever you encounter this question, do not start by looking at what the question want. Do not look at this first. Do not start at that first. You will always start from your part A because they say hence. You will just say integrate this is equals to this. You want to put the 2 0, you don't want to put the 2 0, it's fine. Okay? If you want the 2 0 later can be substituted in one, so don't worry. Okay, so you can see then after you compare the difference that you have, you will see that oh, the question is 3, ours is 27, then how? So nothing, not that difficult. So what happened? We just divide by 9 on both sides of the equation. So I divide by 9. You can only divide and multiply by numbers. You cannot divide and multiply by x. So I divide by 9 here. This part I also divide by 9. Okay, the c you don't need to divide by 9. It makes no difference. So now you integrate this. But is this what the question asks? No, the question asks for this. So you can actually embark on this straight away, but if you're not comfortable, you want to do it into two parts, you can do it into two parts. Then with the 2 0, it just means 1 over 9 3e 3x. Okay, you can ignore the plus c after it becomes a definite integral. Then you press your calculator. This is exact value, no, right? I get 18.877. Please verify my answer. Do not just assume it is like that. Wrong eh? Why wrong ah? Oh, okay. Okay, so this is how you typically do a question whereby they ask you to differentiate something, then ask you to integrate. All right, let's move on to the next one. Your area. So three main component of your integration. First part is your technique, second part is your application. The first application is your area, the second application is your kinematics. Okay, so when you do area, the most importantly is to find the point of intersection. The point of intersection is very, very important. Okay, so the diagram shows part of the curve this, and part of the line this. The curve intersect at this, blah, blah, blah. Find the exact. Exact means your calculation should not have decimals. It's either surds or fraction. Okay, find the shaded area this. So you can see that, remember when we find area, it's just like drawing arrows from the axis. So uh what I will do is I will draw arrow until I touch the, if I draw arrow until I touch, first thing we need to find B first. Okay, how to find B? We know that B is when the y equals to cosine phi x cuts the x-axis. So when you cut the x-axis is when your y coordinate is 0. So cosine phi x is equals to 0. Now we want to find phi x, we have to find the basic angle. Basic angle means cosine inverse 0. You will get pi over 2. Okay, which quadrant is 0 in? Since it's 0, it's all 4 quadrant. Okay, but I only want the first answer lah, so I don't need to bother so much. So actually just 5x equals to pi over 2. By right, there are more answers, but it's not needed because I want the first intersection here. Okay, so x is just equals to pi over 10. Okay, so what happen if I integrate? What happen if I integrate this? If I integrate from 0 to pi over 10 cosine phi x, which area am I actually finding? You just need to know that you keep drawing arrows, then you know that that is the area you are finding. You keep drawing arrows from the axis until you touch the curve. So today, if I integrate from 0 to pi over 10, this is the shaded region that I'm actually finding. Okay, so this will be equals to you put pi over 10 inside, you get half pi. Pi over 2 is 1, so this is 1 over 5 units squared. Okay, so this white color part has an area of 1 over 5 units squared. So now how do I find the shaded region? What do? I plan to integrate from 0 to my c e power x over 2. When I integrate this, which area am I finding? How do I know which area I'm finding? I start drawing arrow from my 0 until I touch the curve all the way. So you can see when I integrate from 0 to pi over 4, I draw arrow from the axis until I touch the curve. Then this is the entire area that I'm finding. So how to integrate e power this? It remains the same. You differentiate the power x over 2. You differentiate x over 2 is actually half. Then this is actually equals to 2ex over 2 pi over 0. Now you sub the value in. This is 2e pi over 8 minus 2. Okay, so the shaded area will be what? Will be equals to the blue one minus away the white color part. And this will give me 2e pi over 8 minus 11 over 5. Okay, they ask us to leave it in exact form, so that's your exact answer. You should not press your calculator. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The next one is your kinematics. Okay, and electron. Okay, so for those who haven't do kinematics, let me run through a bit. So something called displacement, velocity, and acceleration. What is displacement? Displacement is distance with direction. That means it can be negative. If negative means on the left side, if okay, for example, this is the line, this is your reference point. If my object is here, then this is called 3 meter, then this is called 3 meter. If my object is here, this is 4 meter, then you will calculate B as the distance will be -4 lah. Okay, because it's on the left side. So what is velocity? Velocity is speed but with direction. So if you are traveling this direction, your velocity will be positive. If you're traveling this direction, your velocity will be negative. Okay, normally displacement we use S to represent, velocity we use V, acceleration we use A. Acceleration basically how fast your speed is increasing. That's all. Okay, so how do we get from 1 to 1? How to displacement get velocity? You differentiate. How velocity will go to differentiate. How velocity will go to acceleration? Also differentiate. How does acceleration go back to velocity? Integrate. How velocity go back to displacement? Integrate. Okay, so let's take a look at the question. A. An electron move in a straight line such that t leaving velocity is this. I always copy down what they say first. Okay, the time when instantaneously at rest. All these are keywords. Instantaneously at rest means velocity equals to 0. So when v equals to 0, I solve for my t. Divide by 6. Divide by 3. Divide by, yeah, correct. Then how do we solve this? We ln both sides. So 2t equals to ln 5 over 2. So t equals to half. Okay, you want to write in decimal also can. Okay, what is the significance of instantaneously at rest? Instantaneously at rest also means the object turn. The object actually turn. That means if moving like that, at this time it will switch direction. At this point, it will start to switch direction. This is what the object turns means. Okay, part B, find the total distance traveled. So to find the total distance traveled, I have to find the displacement equation first. So if V equals to this, the displacement will just be integrate this. This will be 15t minus 6e2t over 2 plus c. Remember to put in the plus c. And you are supposed to find the c. How do we find the c? we read the question. T second after leaving a fixed point P. So that means that when the object at P, the displacement is 0. The time is also 0. So when T is 0, S is 0, 0 equals to minus 3 plus C. So this tells me C is actually equals to 3. So this is my displacement equation. Okay, this displacement tells you how far you are away from P. It is not the distance travel. I say first. Okay, this S is how far you are from P, not the distance that you actually travel. Okay, so now what we need to see, we need to find that the total distance traveled in what first second. So we cannot just sub T is 1 inside here and tell me that that is the distance traveled. Okay, when you sub T is 1, you are only finding how far the object is. So the distance traveled is always affected by what? The distance traveled is always affected by the turning point where the object turn, and then the starting point and the end point. So these are the three things that you need to take note of when you find distance travel. So we know that the starting point, the object is 0 meter away from P. Now we need to find the turning point and the 1 second, the ending point. So when T is actually half ln 5/2, this is where the object turns out. We need to calculate the S value. So we get 2.37218. Okay, so when T is at the turning, this is the S. Now we find the ending when T is 1. What is our S? Our S will be negative 4.1672. So how do we find the distance travel? You need to draw a diagram. This is my object P. So when it travels until half ln 5/2, the object is 2 point. So this is the 2.37218. This point is when the time is half ln 5/2. So this tell me that the object actually move like that. Okay, it move like that. Then later when you calculate T is 1, the object is actually negative. So the object is here. This is the 4.1672. This is when the T is equal to 1. So how does the object reach here? It will actually turn and then go here. So you can see that the total distance travel is actually equals to 4.1672 plus 2.37218 times 2. That will be 8.91 meters. Okay, so the distance travel, you have to draw, this is what I call a motion diagram. You have to draw and make sure your number tally with how it moves. Okay, next. I done already. Make sure I done all. Okay. Okay, next. Where one part of your integration also, one of your integration technique also uses your partial fraction. Okay, so the first thing you need to check when you have a partial fraction, what's the first thing you need to check? You need to check that it is a improper or a proper fraction. Okay, this one power 2, this one power 2, the numerator is power 2, the denominator is also power 2. This tells us that this is a improper fraction. We need to do long division to make it proper. Normally the long division will not be too difficult one. Okay, because that is not what we are trying to test you. Okay, then you subtract, it become minus 3x minus 4. So now this partial fraction can be written as 2 plus. This one always put plus and put like that. Okay, do not put the negative there. You put the negative there, there's a likelihood you will get wrong. At the same time, I factorize the denominator and this is what I get. Okay, after this is done, then we do our partial fraction. But when we do partial fraction, we only focus on this. Okay, because we only need to partial fraction this. So to partial fraction this, we write down your identity. Okay, then we will have minus 3x minus 4. Okay, then we do substitution when x is negative 2. 2 equals to negative b. 3 minus 1 equals to 8. Okay, so therefore, our 2x squared plus 3x over x squared plus 3x plus 2 equal to, remember to write down these two, 2 minus 1 over x plus 1 minus 2 over x plus 2. Okay, next part, 35b. So 35b require us to integrate 3, 1. So this is what you have partial fraction already. So this is just integrate 3, 1. 2 minus 1 over x plus 1 minus 2 over x plus 2. So which integration to use? This is actually x plus 1 to the power of negative 1. So this is actually your ln. This is x plus 2 to the power of negative 1. So this is again your ln. When you do this kind of question, don't try to press the whole thing into your calculator. Try to write out things like that. Put the 3 inside first. You get 6 minus ln. Put the 3 inside 4. Put the 3 inside minus 2 ln 5. Press this kind of thing. It's a lot easier. Then you put the 1 inside. Yeah, press this kind of thing. Don't just press the whole thing into your calculator. It's very likely that you're going to make a mistake. You get 2.29. Okay, next. Okay, the idea is the same, just that the question become more difficult only. So what you should do, you should differentiate first. How to differentiate this? Power bring down, power minus 1, differentiate inside. Okay, how to simplify this? We simplify first. Okay, then we factorize. 6x plus 1 power half and 6x plus 1 negative half is factorize the smaller power out. And when that happens, when you take out negative half from this just becomes 6x plus 1. Okay, negative half means your square root. Then on top is just 18x plus 3 plus 9x minus 3. So do apply your product rule correctly. Secondly, do your factorization and simplification correctly as well. Okay, so 58b, how do we start your question? We will not look at this. We will not look at the question. I will always start my question using this. Plus C. Okay, so now we inspect. We see that they want 9x, but I have 27x. So first thing, divide by 3. Divide by 3. Okay, now what do I do? How do I make the minus 3 appear? I will subtract this on both sides of the equation. Okay, then this side will combine and become this. Okay, now what I need you to do, integrate this and then simplify. Differentiation, if you don't know how to integrate, change it to index form. This is actually 6x plus 1 to the power of negative half. And how to integrate that? Power increased by 1. Divide by the new power. Divide by the differentiation of the inside. That will give us okay, but this is not what the question asks. The question is asking for a definite integral. So they have 3, 0. So integrate. Okay, so to make sure that it's easier to press, you should do something like that. This is 1/3 times 10 times square root 19 minus square root 19. Now you put the 0 inside, it become 1/3 times 1 times square root 1 minus square root 1. You should get 10.8. Hmm? Wrong eh? Why wrong ah? Oh, what? What's wrong? Oh, this is -1. So this is not 10, this is 8. You wrong eh? Oh, it's -1. Then you should get 8.60. Okay, why is this question difficult? Because there are more things to do. So whenever you want to find area, like I say, you must always find your point of intersection. You must always know all these points here, then you can solve easily. So how to find point A? You can see point A is actually a maximum point. There's two ways to find point A. One is to use R formula, the other one is to use differentiation. Both will allow you to find maximum point. Which one do you prefer? Obviously, differentiation in this case. Okay, to find maximum point is when dy dx equals to 0. So how to solve this? This is your trigo equation. You need to know how to solve. So the only way to solve this is to divide by cosine. Why? Because when sine divided by cosine, you get tangent. So you can see that tangent x equals to 1/4. Basic angle equals to tangent inverse 1/4. remember everything is in algebra in radian. Okay, and you can see that it's in the first and third quadrant, and this is the first maximum point, so you actually don't need to go and do quadrant. So x is just equal to 0.245. So then what is the y coordinate? So you get 4.1231. So therefore A is just 0.245, comma 4.12. Okay, how to find the coordinate of B? The B is just the intersection of your these two graphs. So we label this equation 1, this equation 2. Then we solve them simultaneously because that's the point of intersection. Divide by cosine, divide by cosine. I know my x. You do tangent inverse 1, you get pi over 4 radian. Okay, this need to be exact. This cannot be in decimal because this is your special angle. So when x is pi over 4, y equals to 2. Sine pi over 4 is 1 over square root 2. 3 also 1 over square root 2. So you get 5 over square root 2. Rationalize, you get 5 over 2 square root 2. So therefore, B is pi over 4. Okay, next, hence find the shaded region. So always draw your dotted line from the intersection down. Okay, so you can see to find this part of the area, I just need to integrate from this point to this point. Then to find this part of the area, I just integrate from this point to this point to that curve. So you can see I draw arrow from here, I reach this curve. So you must be clear which one you're using. Okay, so I will do on top so that it's easier for you to see. So to find the purple area, wait, let me think about something. Okay, to find the purple area, we integrate from 0.245, that means tangent inverse 1/4. We integrate from 0.244978 all the way to pi over 4. To which curve? To this curve. This curve is the 2 sine x plus 3 cos x. So to integrate this, we have integrate sine is negative cosine. Integrate cosine is sine. I just put into calculator. I don't need to make nice. I get 1.8334. Okay, now I want to find the green color area. What? I want to find the wait, nope, do this. Okay, now I want to find the green color area. I will integrate from pi over 4 to pi over 2 of this curve because this is the curve. So don't use the wrong curve. So integrate sine is negative cosine, integrate cosine is positive sine. So it's 4 minus, I just press the calculator. 1.87867. So the total shaded region, so the total area is just add these two up. 3.76 units squared. Yeah, so you can see actually the point of intersection is very, very important when you're trying to find the area because that will partition your area into proper sector or proper area for you to calculate one by one. Oh, okay, then final question is it? Okay, finally then we will stop here. So a lot of you I have not do plane geometry with you, we will do together as a class. Okay, particle move in a straight line where t second leaving O, this is the velocity. Find the value of t when instantaneously at rest. Instantaneously at rest means p equals to 0. So bring the 4 over. Cross multiply. Divide by 4. Square both sides. Bring the 1 over, then divide by 2. So at t equals to 3.2 is instantaneously at rest. It is when the object actually turns. The initial acceleration of the particle. So from V to find A, we just need to differentiate our velocity. And then my just write A equals to dB over dt, which is equals to, when I differentiate that, this is actually equals to 8 bracket 2t plus 1 power negative half. So when I differentiate, what do? Power bring down, power minus 1, differentiate the inside. Okay, differentiate minus 4 is 0, so don't need to differentiate. So after that, simplify this just negative 8 over cube root 2t plus 1. Cube 2t plus 1. Initial means what? Initial means when t equals to 0. So A is just negative 8 meter per second squared. Okay, part C, the displacement of the particle from O when t is this. So to find S, we have to integrate. This is actually 2t minus 1 plus 1 to the power of negative half. So when you integrate this, power increase by 1, divide by the new power, divide by the differentiation of the inside. Remember to plus C. So simplify this, it become 8 square root 2t plus 1. Remember to find your C. So based on the question, t second after leaving point O, that means when it is at O, the S is 0, the t is also 0. So when t is 0, S is equals to 0. So 0 equals to 8 minus 8 plus C. So C equals to negative 8. Okay, so what did the question ask? Find the displacement when t is 5 over 8. So when t is 5 over 8, S equals to three over 2. Okay, last but not least, part D. Find the distance traveled from 0 to 4. So to find the distance traveled from 0 to 4, we know that at 0 the displacement is 0. So now what we need to do, we need to find where the object turn. So when t is 3 over 2 is where the object turn. 16, 2. We also need to find when t is 4. It is 0. Huh? Okay, so how does the movement look like? This is the point O where you start. So when t is 3 over 2, the object is here. Then this distance is 2. Then when t is 4, the object go back here. T is 4 is here again. So you can see this is how the object move. The object will move like that. After at this point, it will turn and go back there. So from here, you can see that the total distance traveled is just 2 plus 2. 4 meter. Okay, any question? Anything that I do wrongly? If not, then we should stop